Hello and welcome to COABE's Meet the Author series, where we sit down with authors from our latest edition of the COABE Journal to hear a little behind the scenes. My name is Kristen Hempel and I am COABE's Region 1 representative, and I'm excited to be here today with three of the authors of the article Use of Mobile-Enabled Technology to Promote Essential Skill Development as Co-Curricular Activity for Adult Learners. Thank you all for joining us. Before we begin, could each of you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about who you are and how you came to be here?
Well, I'll go. I'm Steve Robbins from ETS in Princeton, New Jersey. I'm a principal research scientist. We're very excited to talk about this study. It's a beautiful partnership between Triton College and ETS. And in the spirit of wanting to inspire educators and help our adult learners, we are really very, very excited to talk about this project.
How about I go first? Hello, my name is Kevin Lee. I'm the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Triton College. I'm very excited about this partnership with ETS. I think as educator, we always want to seek innovative solutions to drive greater student success. For example, using a new tool from ETS, trying out different venue and solutions. Because we know adult learners are really busy. They're very complex lives. So by trying this mobile learning strategy, perhaps we can really offer more flexibility, but also instill greater motivations in our students.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Lynch. I am the Dean of Adult Education at Triton College, just outside Chicago. I've been in the college 5 years, but I've been in adult ed since 1989. So we were very excited to piggyback on this research study. Kevin invited us and Steve invited us, and we were very excited. I feel that adult ed is a very understudied field, and this was a great opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we were all eagerly awaiting this digital literacy issue and all the wonderful tips and tricks we would hear from the field and from our researchers. So thank you for that. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about what inspired the idea behind the article or inspired the actual writing of it?
Well, I think one of the greatest challenges today is helping adults meet literacy proficiency levels. This is an age-old problem. The demand has not changed. ETS works with the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development to measure adult literacy across the world through its PIAC program. And so our challenge is to how do we help adult learners build literacy and proficiency levels while not distracting them from their goals, which are so important. And so this project tried to put an innovative solution tied to mobile on-demand training connected to really good diagnostic assessment and learning progressions within the classroom as extracurricular activity. So we tried to connect all the dots in a way that would help the learner, help the instructors, and not get in the way of their primary goals in the classroom. So we're very excited about this work and highly appreciative of Triton's commitment to innovate and to try to figure out how to meet this just chronic problem of literacy in our adult population.
I agree, and the pandemic has certainly highlighted for us the critical need for these additional tools, and so it was wonderful to be able to read your article. But I'm curious, what you think the key takeaways will be for adult practitioners as they read the article about the benefits, for their learners and for their own practice.
Let me give it a try. I think this opportunity really represents the bridging of the research efforts with our local practice. Steve come from research. Jacqueline and I are the practitioners. So we're hoping that, can we find this opportunity to test the promise of being able to learn everywhere and anywhere. I think at the end of the day, if we can make some progress in this area, I think that will really help our, adult learner so that they do not necessarily have to devote a large chunk of time, but being able to break the lessons into smaller chunks. I think the promise too about micro lessons, we read a lot about that. Can we make it reality through these collaborations? So I think that is really the motive, part of motive that we want to try something and test out this promise.
So from the adult ed perspective, adult ed programs really report higher attrition among the HSE, high school equivalency population, than the other populations that we serve. And we know motivations for persistence are very complex. Students are faced with a lot of barriers that hinder their attendance and their persistence. Situational barriers, work, finances, family responsibilities, the institutional barriers, schedule, location, method of delivery. And then a big one is their dispositional factors, their self-efficacy, their motivation, their self-doubt. So I think there are two things important here. One is knowing that their time is valuable, and it's a very scarce commodity for many of our students who have these responsibilities. I think these type of interventions, the MELT interventions, really can help students learn on the fly. On the bus, during breaks at work, when the kids are gone to bed, they don't actually have to set up to learn. And we know that successful learning experiences, no matter how small they are, they really facilitate the development of a student's awareness of their capabilities and their confidence in their capabilities. Our HSC students many have not had positive academic experiences, and they've dropped out of high school for a reason, right? So anything that we can do to develop an awareness and confidence in their ability to do something is positive. And then the second thing, I think, the definition of persistence that I personally align with comes from the New England persistence research study that was done in early 2005, 2008. I don't remember the year exactly, but that definition of persistence, they talk about adults staying in the programs as long as they can, engaging in self-directed study when they have to leave, and then coming back to the program as soon as the demands of their lives allow. So I really see the MELT as an important component of that middle step, the self-directed study portion when students they've had to leave but they want to come back, and it will support their learning. Hopefully it would reduce some learning loss. And it also, a very important benefit would be, it would facilitate programs staying in touch with students. And research says that when students stay in touch with programs and vice versa, that the likelihood that they're going to return is higher. So I see this as serving a couple of different functions.
Wonderful. A few of the things you said really stuck out to me. I know I'm always looking for ways we can maximize those small moments of opportunity. And then just the powerful truth of building a positive story of success with education, and just how critical that is. And then, oh my goodness, as a program administrator myself, those gaps, and being able to stay connected, those are all key pieces. So thank you for sharing that. Are there other, oh yes.
I did want to call out our partner, CELED. They're the mobile technology partner, and they have a wonderful history. They started out doing English language learning in Malaysia, and then in the United States. They work with literacy centers and libraries in several states, starting with California, and they're really committed to empowering learners and innovating on how to keep them motivated, because I think Jacqueline's spot on. Half the challenge One battle, and this is an ETS perspective, is good assessment for the goal of helping someone know what they know and what they don't know. And surprisingly, in our classes, there are people who are way higher in proficiency than probably should have been in the class, and people who are really struggling, and you don't know if you don't ask and you don't assess it. And they were nervous to be assessed, but when they got the feedback, they loved it. And that lets you tailor the lessons to where they are in their learning progressions. And then I think the fact that because it's a mobile technology platform, every time you do a micro lesson, you're given immediate feedback and encourage, if you do well, to move on. If you didn't get it, then it's okay and try again. And so, I think that it's important, and you've mentioned this a couple of times, Kristen, how do we use 21st century technology to solve really historically entrenched problems, and with the premium of empowering our learners and inspiring our teachers so that they're enthusiastic about this and they see it as a help, not a hindrance. So I just did want to mention CELED because they really do a great job. They have a range of strategies, and from live coaches to messaging. Kevin is our resident expert on behavioral economics and nudges and messaging, and he actually can talk about that.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline mentioned motivations really matters, when it comes to these student populations and their success. Steve mentioned technology, CELED. So we see this as a huge opportunity. Can we utilize artificial intelligence and the principle of behavioral economics to kind of drive and influence students' behavior so that they will work a little bit harder? So we did utilize some alerts and text messages. And when I mentioned behavior economics, there's some principles that are in our daily life. For example, when we go to a hotel room, there's a little notice, a card stated that 75% of guests, use this towel, more than once. That's a behavioral nudge, right? When supermarket place banana at the eye levels without removing junk food, that's another behavioral nudge. So, we know that, for example, one behavioral economics principle states the following: when learners getting close to a milestone, if we let them know that they're getting very close, they tend to speed up the efforts, right? So one of the text message we send to students is, "Oh, you're getting very close to the end of this course. Congratulations. When do you have 5 minutes today to continue work out a problem?" Now that's a behavioral nudge, right? And another example is, can we really make the connection for the students by really tying this work to their workplace, to their future work and employment? So another, text message and nudges to help them to really see the immediate schoolwork, the value of it, and how it can connect it to the workplace. So one of the text message, we will go, what are you required to read at work? Do you think by mastering this content will help you in the future? So saying is believing, as the Stanford psychologist tells us, that if students can really be able to see the connections of this immediate work and to their value and how they can benefit their loved ones, they tend to be a little bit more motivated in the work.
Wonderful. I love that concept of behavior economics and nudges to, help us motivate ourselves towards those milestones, and tying it and giving it context and purpose. That's really powerful. Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Well, now I know I ate so many bananas.
I have a couple teenage boys, and I'm thinking about all the nudges I need to start giving them, right?
Exactly. Jacqueline, do you want to say anything about instructor differences? I thought that was such an interesting.
Yeah, so I think when Kevin and I visited the classrooms for the feedback, it was pretty different, the reactions we got. And I guess the adult ed is very unique in our ability to to support students. We're like a college within a college. So we do our own intake, our own advising, our own registration, we do our own testing, we do everything. So our students are very familiar with us. We visit classes a lot, and our teachers are very engaged in department initiatives. And so when we visited the adult ed class, the interaction and the feedback session was a lot, we got a lot more information from it than we did from the college readiness class. And just structurally, you know, these students are coming in, they're coming from a whole, you know, bunch of different sources. Many of our students have kind of come through the program together, so they know each other when they walk into the class. They certainly know the teacher or know of the teacher. So there's just, I think that impacted the outcomes, the findings a little bit. Would you agree, Steve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That their the information that was received was a little more robust. Kevin, your perspective on that?
I think there's also a difference in the students' populations too. One class is adult education. The other class really consists of, you know, students that are placed below credit level. Is a developmental education class. I think that speaks to the perennial problems, right, when it comes to developmental educations. We charge them tuitions, but this class does not give you, credit for graduations, and that speaks to our need as practitioners, how we can better engage developmental education students in general. So that has always been a challenge. How can we make sure that they see the value in this class, although it does not give them credit for graduation.
Mm-hmm. And our students are working towards a very specific goal to get their GED. And so their motivation is get to that finish line so I can get the GED.
Well, thank you all. It has been wonderful to talk with you and to learn some more about the programs that you have been working with. I love what Steve, you said about how it's about empowering the learner and inspiring our teachers. And I'm going to throw in sort of a reference back to what Jacqueline said, extending the program. And, Kevin, you, I think, referred to engaging the field and all of this. And so I really feel like this is a wonderful article for all of our practitioners to read, and I hope that you do so if you have not already read it. You can access the article by going onto www.coabe.org, clicking on the COABE Journal tab, and there you can download this article or the entirety of the journal. So I invite you to do that, and I want to thank all of you again for spending this time with us today and sharing your expertise and for writing for the journal.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.